Oh, yes. It's the special episode that only comes once a year. It's time for our annual award show, the Drinkies, where we go over the last year and highlight some of the best and worst moments of this ridiculous show. What show is that? Yep. You know it. It's Drink While You Think, the happy hour conversation between a couple of guys building their firm in really weird ways. I'm your host, Kenji, along with my trusty co-host, Matthew. Matthew, who is our sponsor of the Drinkies today?
Well, we got a pretty cool sponsor from New York today. So just so you know, but our sponsor today is Anrok. Anrok, the SaaS sales tax solution of the future, is here today, ready to fix all your SaaS sales tax needs. 2023 is here, and so is your sales tax solution. Say thanks, SaaS guys.
Okay. That was good, dude. That was really good. They'll like that. A special shout out to Will. Will actually came down, was here in Atlanta. I got to hang out with Will last week. Brad and Michelle and the rest of the team. But y'all rocked for sending us a great lineup of beers. There's no way we can get through all of these, but we're going to grab two of them today. Matthew, which one did you grab?
I grabbed the Grimm Weisse Dunkel, and tell me if I'm saying any of this wrong. The Grimm Weisse Dunkel, it is a double decoction mashed can conditioned wheat ale.
Holy cow, that sounds crazy, wild, and fancy. I can't wait.
Brooklyn, New York. So
yeah, Grimm's out of Brooklyn. These are mostly Brooklyn. I'm drinking a Brooklyn beer. It's from Other Half Brewing. You can't see that, it's very small. All Citra, everything. And that one is this is going to be a big old IPA. It's no messing around. Citra's a great hop there. We'll see how this goes. Matthew, cheers to you, man.
Cheers, dude.
Ooh. What kind of ABV you got on yours?
I got a 5.5. So
I got an 8.5. We switched roles here a little bit. Ooh, that's tasty.
Yeah, I've been sick this week though, so
I've got a little something too.
I need to ease back into it. So
okay.
I haven't had a drink since you turned 50, dude. Oh, I got that. Got that in there.
You mean you haven't had one yet? No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We did plenty of that on my 50th birthday. That is for sure.
Yeah.
All right. I may be older, but I've not gotten any wiser. Yeah. Let's remind everyone of the categories. And I'll say I've made slight adjustments to the categories. And here's the way this works. Okay.
Because I have no idea how it works.
And you won't this time either. So here's our categories.
You didn't even tell me they changed, so I wouldn't have even known. Okay.
Best brewery. So this is a new category. I did best brewery because we've actually gotten a lot of beer this year from like specific breweries. And then I did it to where Matthew's favorite beer, Kenji's favorite beer. These are based on our rankings that we use in Untappd. So I've got that historical data. I've got our worst beers. We did that collectively. So this is for the first time ever, we split out our favorite beer just because you and I have some different things we like. It feels like the right thing to do. Worst beers, we were pretty uniform. So we're keeping worst beers together. And in a lot of these, I'm going to do a runner-up and then the winner. Then we get out of the beer category and we start actually talking about the episodes.
Okay.
The most watched, so the most viewed episode, that there's really no debate. That's just straight out of, data.
Well, did you combine podcasts?
I didn't combine the podcast. I'm only doing off YouTube, so we're gonna have to use that. So that's why I said most watched.
We might have I'm gonna figure out with Mary Margaret if there's any adjustments to most viewed.
That'd actually be cool.
For next episode. So
I'd like to see that data. That'd be cool to see if there's some that stand out better on YouTube versus on podcast. This one had a different name, but I realized what the name really is best location, most interesting location. So we'll run through those.
I know what that was.
I think you do on that one. Then we had one called Weirdest Conversations. I think we had this like last year. It was kind of called, we used to call this like Strangest News. We don't do news that much anymore. We've kind of really pivoted this past year of talking more about just the things that we do. There's better places for people to go to get industry news. So just kind of weirdest conversations. We also called this the, man, we can't make this shit up. Like, this is something that we talked about on the show. People are like, what? And then finally we wrap it up with our favorite guest. And so we'll do a run through of those. So,
okay, cool.
Now the way we've done this is I have already gone through, and I won't say essentially chosen. You can always, it's meant for debate. You can come back and but you're not going to remember all these. I had to go back and look at all the old episodes. So, you may remember some things I don't, but they're kind of already written in there, but I'd love to get your take. So let's start off with our beer. Okay.
Okay.
Best brewery. So, and again, the reason why we do this is we've had a lot of friends who've sent us like batches of beer from different breweries. And our first runner up in the best brewery category for 2022 drinking is Port Orleans Brewery. Remember this one?
I do. Well, this is Amanda
and Andrew,
but via Andrew, right?
Yeah, so Amanda,
Andrew
Aguilar,
picked
and Andrew
these,
Lilly.
right? Yeah,
I did. He's involved with Port Orleans Brewery down in New Orleans. We got a whole bunch of beers from Port Orleans. Some of it might have been some leftover stuff that we were able to capture out of accounting salon. So those have been great though, and we did a lot of nice. What would you call it? Smack talking, Matthew, between Andrew and Amanda throughout the year about Saints and Falcons and their beer. So they're fun
we were equally bad football teams, so I think we all agree on that.
We all agree with that. The thing that we didn't get to do, which would have been fun, is while we were at ZeroCon in New Orleans to get over there and see the brewery. We'll have to do that at some point.
Sounds great, man.
Okay. And so that leaves us with our winner of the best brewery, and we should have put on our shirts, our swag for it, but it goes to, and it's even based on our ratings, Third Window Brewing out of San Diego, California, from the one and only Miss Marissa Jones.
Yeah, that's right. I have
Third Window.
I have one of the stickers on my suitcase because my suitcase, I can tell it at the airport now because I got a new suitcase. Because I got the away suitcase after you told me, get the away suitcase.
Oh, nice. He's got the great t-shirt. She was rocking it out at our Park City trip, but she had a cool hoodie that I was a little jealous of, but great beers. Awesome beers. So if you're ever in the city, or sorry, I said San Diego, Santa Barbara area, check out Third Window.
Can I give an honorable mention?
Yeah, please.
Okay. This is not a brewery, so it gets honorable mention. Probably would have won otherwise. Is the Beer Temple in Chicago.
We will talk about that.
Oh, we'll talk about it? Okay, good. Because if we don't talk about the Beer Temple in Chicago with the best beers, I don't know what we're doing. So I know it's not a brewery, so it doesn't count.
Yeah, there's no brewery. Well, let's go into that. Actually, I mean, not to spoil it, people won't know these beers, but let's talk about that. So your favorite beer, and this is based on rankings, Matthew. I went back and looked at rankings, came from exactly what you just mentioned. Your favorite beer of the year came from the Beer Temple. And this is not just while we were up there for the Unique CPA podcast.
This is the one. Is this the pastry stout he sent me?
This is one. Okay. Here's the name of it. It's called Pressed. Pressed is the coffee, coconut, chocolate, vanilla, and cinnamon imperial porter from Phase 3 Brewing.
Which I would have lost a bet that I would have liked.
I mean, let me say that one more time.
I dislike coconut. I do. It was a great beer, though.
Yeah, you gave that sucker a 5.
Dude, it was unreal.
5. And again,
unreal
listen to how many things are listed in there. The Pressed coffee, coconut, chocolate, vanilla, and cinnamon. I'm like, there is beer in there too, right? Or is it just...
That was an amazing beer.
You love that beer. That came from Randy's spot, the Beer Temple. Check out the Beer Temple in Chicago. And guess what? Mine did too.
Really?
It was my favorite beer. A little bit unusual.
What's your favorite beer? Was it one of those hazies? Was it one of the hazies?
It wasn't. It wasn't. This was such a unique beer. And I love the story behind it. This one's called the Jungle Boogie by Mars Community Brewing in Chicago. And I mean, it is a really unique wheat beer. Not really like most wheat beers you try. It had a like a rooibos tea thing in there. Like my wife had some, she loved it. So I'm probably a little bit impacted by that. It's just so unique. And like the brewery itself, I've never been to, but I really want to go there because apparently it's just, they've built out this super cool kind of community based, like you come in there and there's artwork and all just kinds of funky things. Like yeah, it's I'm kind of obsessed with it. The Jungle Boogie out of Chicago by Moore's Community Brewing is my favorite. Both of them came from the Beer Temple.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome.
So, worst beers. Sorry, folks.
Bud Light next.
Dude,
Bud
why
Light
do you ruin everything? You ruin everything.
It was Bud Light next. Oh, I haven't seen your list. I know,
but you jump ahead. You don't play with the buildup of like, got to get through some others here. You just jump right into
man, Bud Light next was the worst effing beer last year.
That is correct.
It's been a year since I tasted that, and it was just
the runner-up. It was bad.
Okay,
I will say the runner-up, and you weren't on this episode. I was on there, and I had the pumpkin ale from Iron Hill. Horrible.
Who were you drinking pumpkin ale with?
Scarano.
Oh yeah, that's
I
your
threw
judgment's
it out.
impaired when you're
I threw it out onto my plants. I was outside. I'm like, I chucked it. It was that, you know me, I don't do that very often. It was not a good beer. Iron Hill, you don't have, you're a fine brewery, but you don't need to be out there doing the pumpkin ale. That was not good. And again, Matthew jumped ahead. He kind of pulled a Kanye there on Taylor Swift and kind of jumped ahead there. And but the winner by just a landslide.
Just a mile.
Right next. I went back and was watching us. I was watching us. It's almost been a year because remember it was right on the Super Bowl.
It was Super Bowl, yeah. So I haven't tasted it in a year, and I still am like, oh, that was the worst beer ever.
I saw it in the store a little bit ago. I'm like, I was surprised it was actually still in the store. Like we were funny watching us actually taste that because the takeaway was like, I guess if you like a watered down beer flavored seltzer. We were so confused. Like you were going back and forth drinking water in the seltzer in the glass. You could barely tell which was which. It was not good. Not good. We'll come back to that episode a little bit later. But I mean, that was just horrendous. I mean, it shouldn't even be in the beer category. I don't even call it, they call it a beer, but like it shouldn't even be a beer.
It's sold next to the beers. They should sell that somewhere else.
I mean, this is a beer right there. That's a good hazy. Ooh, that's tasty. That is a real beer. Okay, we're out of the beer categories. Let's get into the most watched episodes.
Awesome. Do you have like a top 3 here?
I've got the top 2. I could probably remember the third.
It's all right.
But our runner-up. But these were by a rather wide margin. I mean, they really kind of jumped out and usually were pretty consistent, but these were up.
This is like 14, 15 viewers on these two. It's like normally
these were up in the hundreds. These were up in the 200 and 300s views.
Woo!
So, and this one hasn't even been out for that long. Well, it was back half of the year. Our first runner-up for the most watched episode this year at the Drinkies goes to the episode called Our Economy Will Take Years to Recover from the Pandemic with Liz Wilkie from Gusto. That was a really, really popular episode.
Well, yeah.
Number 2.
When somebody else joins us, it's always going to be better.
Oh, well, you and I know that, right? But actually, there've been some, I'm not going to name names out there. I'm going to say there've been some that we've had guests on that I'm like, whoa, that is a low rating. Liz is not the case. She had a great rating, and that was not that long ago she was on. The mistake we've made is I think they reached back out and wanted to, hey, can Liz come back on? And I just haven't followed back up because we haven't had time to do it.
Yes,
should have had her on.
Yes, you can.
Yes, 1,000 times over. Yes, we got to get Liz back on. She's just super interesting, informative, and just fun to have on, right? So I think we're going to do bourbon with her next time. What I want to do with Liz. So
okay.
But the winner, Matthew. Here's what's going to surprise you.
What?
We had no guests. It was just you and me.
Oh, I was going to be excited if it was like just me and not you.
You don't want to see that one. You don't want to see that one. That one is low. I know one that you were on, but the winner was the episode titled "Why Private Equity Keeps Investing in Accounting Firms."
Really?
That was by a long shot. Isn't that wild?
That is really
Just the
wild.
two of us on there. But we have heard a lot of people have talked to us about that episode. I just thought they were making it up, but I think that hit everybody's buttons.
Radar
I
for
think
some
we had
reason.
just come out of Chicago, actually at the Beer Temple with Randy for the Unique CPA podcast, and
Oh, and
spent
Alan,
time with Alan
you had
Colton up
spent you
there.
had
And
talked to Alan a bunch. Yeah.
yeah, and this was heating up. And that really touched something off with folks. So it'll be fun for you to go back and check that with our marketing team to see whether the podcast listens are correlate to those two from the YouTube. But they probably did in some sense.
Yeah.
What I think on that one, because you and I aren't going to give yourself anything more, Liz may already have one of our amazing, Acuity
Acuity.
Yetis, but we
Yetis.
may have to give her a second one. She may have to win that. We'll see.
Cool.
Okay. Best location. And you'll know this one, but let me just tell you all the places we went. This is kind of fun to hear the places. I'm putting all these in the runner-up category, right? Here's all the different places.
This is where we had in the locations where the two of us were together when we recorded, or were either
not necessarily.
Of us?
Either one of us was not doing this where we are right now from our home offices. So just something that had a different location. I think those are kind of fun just because you and I kind of get excited when we're not doing it from the same place.
Yep.
So here are the different spots we did it. These are all runner-ups. San Diego.
Oh yeah.
That was great for Accounting Web Live.
Yep.
Out by the pool there. We did, I did one where I realized I was in my parents' backyard out in Colorado. That was in this past summer when I was at them. I'd forgotten about that. Sweetwater Brewery in Atlanta. Remember that one?
Sweetwater Brewery.
That was kind of fun. We were testing out some new equipment that, we did okay with. Then another kind of funny one was when we did the walkthrough of my home brewing setup. Remember that down in the basement?
Oh yeah, we did like a random episode. Okay.
I was carbonating the beer, and you were laughing.
We could nominate that for weirdest conversation.
It almost made it up there as one of the weird ones.
Okay.
But that was pretty interesting. And then those were it, except for the winner. And you know what the winner is?
No, there
was
was
a missing one. Was there another one?
Yeah, was that? I don't know if I have my years right, but I thought we had one in North Georgia mountains. We were on the porch with the train. That was the year before.
That was last year. You did this last year too. You were like, wait a minute, wasn't that? And all the ones you were thinking of were always.
I know you were talking about. I mean, we were like the one in the Philippines. That's the
easiest one. Yeah,
like,
out there by the pool in Manila. I mean, come on.
That was pretty great.
Yeah. What were the beers we were drinking? Do you remember? There's a red
something, and
dragon or something. I'm not sure. They were going down great in that awesome pool. That was a good.
I'm surprised they didn't make the best beer list. That was actually, or the best brewery. That one. That was like
that could have been that. Yeah, we certainly tested.
They probably need to be runner up for best brewery, like because I think it's the same brewery that does both those beers.
Is it? Okay.
If it is, they need to be on there. If not,
okay,
so they can have honorable mention with the Beer Temple.
Okay, we're getting down to our last few.
Okay,
we're at we hear just like conversations, right? It is a podcast show about the weird things we do. We're building our firm in weird ways. And so we just sometimes have just strange things that like unexpectedly kind of pop up. I did, by the way, get rid of, there used to be I actually like this category.
Oh, sorry.
But I got rid of it. I got rid of this category. There was one called the Most Matthew category. And last year, and I'm just like, it was me making fun of you for like just you being super weird and bizarre. But I'm like, we did more stuff this past year together that was just weird.
Yeah. So best location runner up would have been the Las Vegas episode that we ruined the sound on, looking over the Bellagio fountains because the wind was so bad you couldn't hear the episode.
That would have been the easiest runner-up. I mean, that was the most beautiful, gorgeous view, and we just I screwed that up with the sound. We're not. That's why the location thing's fun, but you just don't know. Sometimes those things just do not play out.
We call it the lost episode, right?
That's the lost episode.
Yeah.
Because unless you can read lips, you're gonna have a tough time with that one.
Okay, so we going
Okay.
weirdest conversation.
Weirdest
or favorite
conversations. We can't make this up. I actually have a second runner-up
guest?
because, and I might rename this category because
Okay.
you're going to get this in honor of a guest who has managed to make their way into this category like every year because of who this guest is.
Yeah.
Any ideas?
Scarano's the weirdest guest.
It's Scarano. It's the Scott Scarano. We can't make this shit up conversation. He's
It's
I'm only
like
giving
it's like interviewing Robin Williams.
yeah.
And it's just like, have you ever seen a Robin Williams interview? It just there's like you get one question, and after that, it's off the rails. It's just terrible. Like you just like well, it's fine. You just got to know what it is. You just got to let toddler be the toddler or whatever.
So I'll just tell you what the topic. I mean, again, the thing that
It had to be quinceañeras. Like was quinceañeras the topic that was the weird?
We get to the end, right? And of course he wasn't drinking, but he was vaping and smoking weed on the episode. And so he wanted to rank his weed. He was smoking, he was all excited about a Sunset Sherbet Sauce Indica. And he was very excited that there were lots of S's in the name.
I'm so not cool.
I know I had to go write it down. I was like, what? He was excited to tell us that it had 3 S's in it. He likes S's, of course, because his initials S. He was just very excited about that. But when he ranked them, he wanted to rank this weed based on EOS ratings for like an L10 meeting, he said. So then he's trying to do L10 EOS rankings for all you EOS nerds out there like us to rank his Sunset Sherbet Sauce Indica. And then he wanted Blake to use it as an earmark episode. And he's like, oh, he could use this as one of the CPE questions. If people are paying attention, what strain of weed was Scott smoking? And I was like, I don't think that's going to work as a CPE question, Scott. I mean, can you make this stuff up?
You can't make that stuff up.
We love you, Scotty. This may become actually your category. We may just kind of call it the Scott Scarano category. Okay, let's get to the actual runner-up of just weird things and topics. First runner-up, when we started talking about personalities, and I say this one because this was really kind of on me, and we were talking about personality testing and where they play a part in your firm. And so I look back and realize how ridiculous this was because we were comparing personality tests, but you never took them. I was taking the personality test for you. And do you remember this? And you were like, dude, you can't do that. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I know you well enough to where I didn't want to tell you about the episode. So I was taking all the personality tests for you and then comparing them. And you just sat there befuddled. Like this is the most ridiculous thing. But I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is pretty accurate.
I don't even remember that episode. It was like I must have blocked it out. Like
you probably did. It was so bizarre. I'm like, oh,
so
I forgot this episode. And I looked at it. I was like, oh, I forgot. I brought my tests in and I took them for you. I didn't know where yours were. And I'm like, I'll just fill it out for him because I know how Matthew thinks. I'm like, what in the world? What a weird. That wasn't the weirdest.
That's
and you'll right away. That's pretty weird. I mean, the weirdest, honestly. And again, I used to like to pin these on you, Matthew. I had way too much to do with these weird ones this year. I mean, we talked about it earlier, but the Bud Light Next NFTs. So what we failed to mention earlier in the episode is not only do we drink the worst beer known to man, I bought NFTs for Bud Light Next. And then
you were unsuccessful with half of the purchases.
With one of them, thank God I was unsuccessful with. With one of them, I wanted to get each of us an NFT. Now we had to split our NFT. And then you made me do the journal entries up on the whiteboard behind me. I mean,
I don't know why you did that.
What in the world? I mean, was that not the most jacked up, bizarre?
Well, I mean, it is kind of an accounting podcast. So like that we do journal entries can't be that odd. Like that you couldn't execute an NFT purchase and then could do the second one, and then you regretted.
That actually wasn't me. That was Bud Light. Bud Light messed it up, and ended up getting my money back on that, which is good because
Anheuser-Busch messed it up. Well, I'm sure that
they did. Anheuser-Busch did. I would have. Well, I can tell you, I actually looked it up. When I purchased this, I think we were talking about this in the episode. A year ago, it was something like, I don't know, it was like 1.2 ETH, or sorry, 0.12 ETH, something around $400 is what it was worth. I got on my Coinbase account and looked at my wallet, but I still hold the NFT today. Coinbase is telling me the market value is probably closer to 0.02 ETH, roughly $33 today. So I've had a
Man, we should go aggregate all the Bud Light Next things and
just loss harvesting with our NFTs.
Let's go own the market of Bud Light NFTs and then demand Bud Light like honor all the things that they said they're going to do and just be the Bud Light.
Well, the only thing they did do, and we didn't take advantage of this, we're like, whatever, was there was a special day that Bud Light Next NFT holders could come up and do a special tour of the Budweiser plant in St. Louis. I mean, that could have been kind of a fun drink what you think episode.
That would have been, if they didn't make you drink Bud Light Next at the end, that'd be fun.
No kidding. And the fact that at that point we only had one NFT, so hopefully I could have brought a guest. That was bizarre. We went down a weird path there. I was super giddy about that. Usually I count on you to bring the weirdness in. I did a pretty good job in 2022 of bringing the weirdness in. All right, finally, our favorite category, and that is our favorite guest.
Your favorite category you picked already, so like I don't even know who you're talking about.
Well, I'm gonna run through them. This will make this will be the happiest you'll be right here, because I mean, this is really fun. When I went back and I looked at all the guests, and obviously a bunch of, but let me read through all the guests we had on, and this just makes me smile thinking about our friends who are on. Yeah. Okay, here's everybody who was on in the past year. Chris Williams from System 6.
Okay.
Brooke Beach at Market Wake. Lisa Gilreath of Acuity, or COO. Dan Gertrudes of Growth Lab. Nicole and JW Davis from Butler Davis.
Oh.
Randy Crabtree from Tri-Merit / Unique CPA. Scott Scarano from Another Planet, wherever Scott's from. Shannon Hay from Live Oak Bank.
Oh, yeah.
Terrell Turner from TL Turner Group. Seth Feinberg, big writers covering the industry, formerly at Accounting Web.
And he didn't even tell us.
Marissa Jones, that's true, right for you. Marissa Jones, you mentioned, of Logistis. Liz Wilkie of Gusto. Ben Stein of Keeper. And Jamie Beresford of Practice Protect. Like, man, was that
last year? Did you get him in? You recorded that in December?
Well, I just do it based. Yeah, that one's our most recent episode, just dropped. So I just do it from. It kind of bleeds into this year, so I just do it from last.
Okay.
Forward to this one. So a couple of these, Ben and Jamie, kind of were in January of this year.
Okay.
So I mean, that just makes me smile when I think about. That's a great group of people. Like we're very lucky to have them as friends, and so that's the full lineup there. So I want you to spend some time thinking about the winner of the favorite guest. I'm gonna let you. You know what? I pick everything.
No, don't rank them. The problem with me doing this is that, like, in the context of this, like, I haven't watched half those episodes because I wasn't on. Like, a lot of times when I can't make it, you have a guest.
That's true. Why don't just pick one? I mean, pick who you think for you.
I have my favorite.
Okay.
I have my favorite episode of that and my favorite guest of that for sure.
Okay. Go for it, man.
Oh, my favorite episode of that, of all those people. I mean, I love when we start getting into it. I like the episode with Shannon. Like Live Oak Bank, like I hate bankers, dude. And like having so he gets like an extra bump for being a banker that can like talk our industry.
Yep.
Like, what a refreshing deal, man. Like that was just an awesome thing. So Shannon, you get my vote for this year, and so that's where I put my vote, dude. So good.
Shannon, I think you're also getting you're also getting a bump. You're getting a banker bump, but you're also getting the Kenji wasn't there bump. So
Kenji, you weren't on that one either?
The only one I wasn't on. You're giving him a bump because I wasn't there.
Oh, yeah, that's fair. I got that. So I think you have to pick. You have to pick separate because I wasn't there for so many of these.
Yeah.
Who'd
I'm gonna pick.
you have your runner-up?
I'm gonna pick someone.
Do you have a runner-up, or were they all?
Everybody everybody. I kind of everyone. There's one who stood out for me this year though.
Okay.
And that was, drum roll, the one and only Mr. Randy Crabtree. I mean, Randy, his episode was even called, "Is he the most perfect drink while you think guest ever?" Right? I mean, we're talking about the guy who sent us our favorite beers. He just sent us another great group. I've unfairly just recorded with him last week too, so that episode hasn't hit. He'll be in this next one. So technically, I've had one with you on there, one with me. He sent us the most amazing beer. I'm incredibly biased and giving him big bumps for the fact that he sends amazing beer. And he invited us to Chicago for his podcast. So Randy was someone I had not met before, but was just kind of like all of a sudden he was at conferences this year and someone I sought out a lot and he's been super helpful. So I soft spot for our buddy, Mr. Randy Crabtree, who's been pretty amazing.
Yeah. He and that's great. That's awesome. I second that.
We'll send both Shannon and Randy some of the Acuity Yeti mugs. But I also have one kind of side one who I think also gets a mug too. Okay. And this is in this same favorite guest. It's our favorite guest who's never actually been a guest. Who could that be?
Our favorite guest who's never been a guest? I don't know what you're talking about.
Only thing I'm going to ask for you is to pronounce her last name. Alex who, Matthew?
I don't know.
Say it, Matthew. Alex what? Alex
Mills.
You messed it up again.
For fun.
It's Alex Miles.
I know. Oh, I thought you were trying to get me to do the thing I messed up.
Oh, sure, whatever. We say that with Alex because she sent us a bunch of beer 2 different times, has never actually been on the show. I think we've referenced her a bunch. She's almost like the favorite guest who's actually never been a guest. So, Alex.
That makes sense.
That makes sense. It felt weird when I wrote all those names out and she wasn't on it. I'm like, oh, she was never on. We got to get her
Alex Miles was never on the show. Alex Mills showed up once.
Dude, what is the deal with you? You're ridiculous. You are ridiculous. Those are the Drinkies, everybody. And I even have, better than sending out awards like this. I don't know who sent me something like this. I have this. Look at this. That's from Will Lopez, actually.
For the podcast listeners, he just showed us an Oscar-like trophy.
It's got my name on it too. See, it's legit. Thank you, Gusto. Let's rank. We'll send some of those sweet Yeti pint glasses out to some of our winners, and we'll have to figure out what next year's will look like. But Matthew, let's do some ratings of our beers. I've got mine pulled up. I'm going to go ahead and hit mine here. Again, this is the double dry hopped, all Citra, everything from Other Half Brewing out of Brooklyn.
You're not very good at the announcer voice, dude.
I'm not very good. You've got a better radio voice than me. But I've got a better face for TV. I'm going to go 4.25. Pretty solid. This thing gets crazy. Man, the average is 4.4. I brought it down with a 4.25. Matthew, can you tell me the name one more time again? I know it's a.
I'm going with the Grimm Weisse Dunkel. Grimm Weisse Dunkel.
Oh, a Dunkel. That's right. It's a wheat beer. Tell us what you feel about the Grimm Weisse.
I'm not feeling it, but I haven't been feeling good, so I don't know if it's my taste buds or what, but I'm on a 3.25. It might be just an off day for me. So
I like it. Look at this. You and I are actually rating beers lower than their averages. I feel like we're getting more discerning. Maybe we're just getting older and grumpier. It's hard to know. I don't think I actually ever ended up sharing the screen, did I? There it is. Okay, great. There it goes. So, But remember to follow us on Untappd. You can take a look at all these crazy beers that we've consumed, and that's where all our data comes from when we have to go back and figure out these rankings. So, fun year, fun past 12 months, full of people on here, which is always good. So
check out check out Anrok too. Those guys are great. So
They are great.
if you're a SaaS company and need sales tax solution. So
'Cause that is coming. That is
thanks.
coming.
That is coming. That is states are
The
broke.
the government likes to make money, and they're going to look for that. So thanks everyone. Feel free to please subscribe, like, pass it along, and shoot us some comments. Cheers.
Cheers.